Hey everyone, so as you can tell, I'm using my webcam right now, and I wanted to make a video a little bit different where it's not just showing you a computer screen, because I understand that can get boring, and that's what most of this is. But today I wanted to talk about this, this piece of paper, this, and a couple other things I don't have right now, because you had to destroy them to get the money out. But I just want to talk about how I got started, what steps my dad kind of told me when I was younger. So if you're an adult and watching this, you have kids, you can tell your kids. If you're a kid, you can ask your parents. And it's never too late to get into investing. And the earlier, the better, because of the power of compounding interest. So before we get into this, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notifications bell, and let's get into it. So, this little piggy bank my dad bought for me when I was probably 4 or 5. And essentially, it's got 4 sections. The first one is invest, second one is donate, third one is spending, and the last one down here is save. So my dad told me from a young age, if you save your money, don't spend it on unnecessary things, you have a better chance of being successful in life. So he had a money talk with me when I was really young. I was probably 4, 5, and he really started telling me, okay, Sam, here's some money, go put it in your piggy banks. And what he'd do every day is he'd come home from work, he'd throw, 45, 50 cents on the table. Some days it was 75 cents, some days $1. But he'd throw money on the table, just coins. He'd say, okay, go put that in your piggy bank, and it got to the point where I knew, okay, Dad's pulling in, time to go grab my money off the table. And 45, 50 cents a day has really changed who I am as a person. It's really helped me in my investing area. So, basically, he got this for me. And what he did was he said, whenever I put money on the table, you're going to put a certain amount into each slot. So I had, let's read it. So, under the donate spot, he put retirement. He said, we'll put retirement savings into donations because if you're more successful now, then you can essentially help more people later, which I think makes sense. And I was 4, so he said you don't really need to worry about that yet. But what we did was we put 25% into the retirement, which was the donate slot. We put 25% into savings, 40% into spending, and 10% into investing. And I think that's where he got it wrong. A lot of this was helpful, and it's more helpful than other kids get. He talked to me about this when I was either 4 or 5. And if you talk to your kids about it, it can really, really encourage them. But I think he should have said, okay, put 25% into investing and 10% into savings. And I think since I was young, it wouldn't have made a difference to me at the time if he had said, put only 20% into spending and bump up investing to 45%. And I think, ultimately, I never spent any of the money that went into this piggy bank, so it didn't really matter anyways. But on top of this piggy bank here, this was the one that was filled quite a bit too, Sammy's money jar. My cousin actually helped me with that. She knew that my dad every day would give me a certain amount of change, and so, she just helped me. It was a fun thing to do. We painted, I drew some stuff on it, and then she wrote Sammy's money jar on the front. So there was a lot of money in that. A lot of money in this one. But the one that I had the most money in was I had 2 glass piggy banks. Probably, I don't know, 25% bigger than this one. This isn't that big. But 2 glass piggy banks. Pretty good size. And, that's where I'd throw most of my money. Quarters, nickels, dimes. There were even dollar coins, half dollars, and dollar bills. So, on top of that, for Christmas, things like that, starting when I was probably 9 or 10, I didn't have an interest in mini toys anymore. I mean, the only toys I really played with were Legos, and I had plenty of Legos by then, so I started just saying, I'll have money for Christmas this year. So, instead of $40, $50 in gifts, people would give me $40 or $50 in cash. Sometimes it'd be, like, cards for Walmart, gift cards. And I'd say, hey, want to buy this off me for $1 less? People would say, sure. So I'd get $39 for a $40 gift card. I didn't do that much because most people knew I wanted money. And so they'd give me money most of the time. But that is what really, kicked off my interest, is when my dad talked to me when I was 4 or 5. And if you have that conversation with your kids, even if you're not necessarily financially smart, just look into it because it will help your kids in the long term. If you want to do what's best for them, have a talk with them when they're very young about how powerful saving and investing can be. Teach them you don't need that $250 pair of shoes. Maybe for Christmas or for your birthday, but you really don't need that $250 pair of shoes. Right now, I still get $40 pairs of shoes because I think it's pointless to spend so much money on a pair of shoes if you're not doing anything with the money. I mean, you can put $250 into an investment account, and in 50 years it may be $4,000. So you can buy 16 pairs of those same shoes. So even just having that conversation with your kids, hey, maybe you don't need that $150, $200 pair of shoes, but we'll open up an account. And it's exciting to see that money grow. And so when I had just turned 12, and my dad had a conversation with me. Basically, he brought up Berkshire Hathaway stock, and he said, Warren Buffett gets 25% yearly. And that really interested me because basically he said, if you put $100 in the bank, in about 3 years, you'd have $200 if you're getting 25%, which most people don't. But essentially, he said if you put $100 in about 7 years, you'd have $200. So, wow, I got $100 in 7 years. That doesn't sound like much. I mean, you can go work a $10 an hour job for 10 hours and make that much. But where it really gets big is, okay, if you have $10,000, you can turn that into $20,000. You can then turn the $20,000 into $40,000, the $40,000 into $80,000. And so compounding interest is truly amazing. And so right after I had turned 12, it was that spring, winter area. He had said, there's this thing called Berkshire Hathaway stock, and I was like, what are stocks? And essentially he said, it's when you buy part of a company, and if the company does good, the stocks go up. If the company does bad, stocks go down. He said that it's risky, but if you get into it and you're good at it, you can make money off of it. And so that's what has happened. He had this conversation with me, and there was it wasn't even small, there was a correction in end of January, February 2018. And that's when I really started pushing, Dad, this is really cool. Stocks are really undervalued right now. Can we please open up an account? we didn't end up opening an account till October and November of that year. So October, November 2018. That year, the market overall was down, I don't know, what, 5-10%, because there was the 2018 crash, bottomed out Christmas Eve. We lost like 19.8%. It's almost the end of the bull market, but not quite yet. And so I finally opened an account in October, November, and I started out with swing trading. So I swung trade 3 big companies. There was Amazon, Apple, and Netflix were the 3 big companies that I just traded around. So I made 5% in those final 2.5 months of 2018. 5% on about a $3,500 account. So let's talk about how my account got to that point in the beginning. So my dad really pushing me from a young age to save got my account way higher, and it really helped me in basically I had about $1,800 in saved money. The other $1,800 came from bonds that I had gotten when I was younger from grandparents, parents, friends, stuff like that. So those got interest, and I was able to cash those in, put those into my account. So I'll talk about the second part of my investing story on Thursday. I just wanted to make this part to kick off, well, this is how I got started. My dad had to talk with me at a young age. You can do it with your kids. Buy them one of these. Doesn't even have to be one of these. Buy them one of the glass ones that they can't take money out of until it's basically full. You crack it open, you sort all the coins. Be careful of glass, though. Yeah, I got caught a few times on glass, but maybe some parental supervision. Thank you for watching. Please, if you liked this video, let me know in the comments. Subscribe, like, that all helps me out a ton. I'm an extremely small YouTuber. Also, at this point, I think we're nearing 200 views on my second video. So thank you very much. Maybe if you haven't watched that video, go watch it. It's interesting. People seem to like it. Go watch some of my other videos. Subscribe, please. It helps me. Have a great day and happy investing.